I'm Alex Howard, and my guest is Jesse Vincent, president at Best Practical.
Hey Alex, how are you?
I'm well. Did I get that about right?
You got that basically right.
Okay, Best Practices.
Best Practical is the name of the company.
Okay.
My title is somewhat fluid. I think this week it's founder and CEO, but it's all the same. I'm responsible for everything.
Got it. So I hear you're a pumpkin.
So one of my hobbies is that I'm the current Pump King or project lead for Perl 5.
Okay.
The version of Perl that everybody actually uses.
Does this mean you actually get a pumpkin stick or something?
So the way it works is Perl has been around for a couple of decades.
Yep.
And way back when the project started, we didn't have version control. Nobody had version control software. And so the way that you made sure that two people weren't checking in source code at this, or weren't changing the source code at the same time, was effectively there was a physical token. There was something that said, I'm the guy, and it was always guys, for whatever. I'm the guy who is currently allowed to make changes to the source code. And somehow it ended up being based on a stuffed pumpkin that someone used for the backup tape rotation equivalent at their job. So whoever had the stuffed pumpkin was the person who was in charge of making sure that changes got basically integrated.
Got it.
And so they were the Pumpkin King, and that got shortened to Pump King.
You're the Pumpkin.
So the project lead for Perl 5 got its name because 20 years ago we didn't use version control.
Okay. So you're the pumpkin for that context.
Yes.
All right. Now that we've figured out the Perl stuff.
Yeah.
What are you seeing in terms of this space, right? I mean, obviously, Perl comes up in the context of application development, but we're here at a gigantic Android conference. And,
sure.
The interesting thing with Android that we're starting to see right now is this bifurcation or trifurcation or quadrification or whatever you want to talk, all these different markets.
Yeah.
So what are the different app marketplaces that exist, and how are they different?
Okay. That is rather a large topic. This is my 20-minute talk tomorrow.
That's right, so we're getting the abstract here.
And that talk itself is kind of an abstract because when I proposed the talk to the organizers, my guess was that there were on the order of 20 markets, and I could probably do a minute about each of the 20 markets. Okay. By my last count this morning, I have found 72 Android app markets.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and some of those, you've got the biggies. You've got Google's Android app market. Mm-hmm. You have the Amazon App Store. You have things like GetJar and Handmark and Android Pit and a bunch of carrier-branded things. And there's a Turkish app market only for use within Turkey. There are a half dozen or more Chinese app markets. Motorola had a half dozen markets that they did shop for apps, and it was cut into, there was a Chinese market and then a bunch of Central American markets. As Google expanded into Central America and launched with Central American carriers, Motorola shut down those and just has the Chinese one. It's all over the place.
So that's growing by leaps and bounds, and really, it sounds even changing country by country.
It's country by country and demographic by demographic and language group by language group, and there are markets that are mostly about themes. There are markets that are only free. There are markets that support paid apps. There are markets that are just Android. There are markets that are Android and a half dozen other platforms. There are markets that are actually somebody's WordPress blog. There are pirate app markets. There are a good few pirate app markets. And all these things have different policies and different, the paid markets have different splits. So you might make a different amount of money per app from Amazon as you make than you make from Google, than you make from Android Pit. They pay at different rates. They pay through different mechanisms. Some of them let you post without review. Some of them programmatically review your code. Some of them programmatically review your code and then have a human run your app and decide whether it hits their standards. It's bedlam.
Is there anyone who's actually providing some kind of guide to the pros and cons here yet?
There are a couple. They seem to mostly be crowdsourced, which means the information is crap.
Okay.
I've found a single company that is doing Android App Store submission as a service. And it appears to be this Google Web Toolkit app that you can pay them money and they'll submit to a bunch of markets. They don't tell you which markets before you sign up. It's like, it's sketchy. It was linked from the XDA developer forums. It doesn't really talk about who's behind it or where it goes, and I'm putting my credit card in a web form, and then they're uploading apps on my behalf to random app stores.
So this sounds like a Wild West, and it sounds like there actually is some kind of opportunity for someone to help with this problem.
Oh, there's a huge opportunity for people to help with this problem. But at the same time, I've tried pushing my apps to some of the major stores and some of the minor stores, and for the most part, my experience is that most of my sales are still on the Google market. Most of my downloads are still from the Google market. There's Android Pit is number 2 for me. Amazon is number 3 for me. SlideMe is like, it actually comes in way down the list. SlideMe is the place where people seem to be taking their emulators when Google boots them off the Google market without so much as an explanation.
Okay.
But yeah, it's
getting worked out almost in day by day.
I'm not actually sure it's getting worked out, but things are evolving day by day.
Okay, well, I wouldn't say resolve, but things are.
Yeah, things are, yes.
Okay, so in that context, this wild woolly world, what are the most successful app distribution strategies that you've seen other developers or that you've taken on yourself?
Okay, so app distribution, you can either be charging money or not charging money for the app itself. If you are not charging money for the app itself, and you're making money off of carrier tie-ups or various pre-install deals or ads or something like that, then yeah, you push it to every market on the planet. You make it freely downloadable from your website. You see how many stores Angry Birds is on, and it's all over the place.
Yep.
What's worked for me is mostly the Google Android market. It's the clearest. It feels like it's the safest. It is, for better or worse, the most transparent of the markets. It's the only one that actually, as far as I found, lets me refund a user 3 weeks later when they start complaining.
Okay.
And somebody pays me $5 and they're unhappy, I want to give them their money back. I don't want their $5 and have them angry.
Makes sense.
And with Amazon, I can't do that. They can call Amazon and Amazon will refund them, but I, as a developer, have no say in the matter.
Got it. I experienced something like that with the iTunes world, where someone wanted to do a refund and they ended up actually giving me a gift card because I had to go through the whole process with Apple.
I've actually PayPal'd a couple of people refunds when they were really upset, and it's, well, I made $3.50 off that $5 sale, but I'm sending you $5. Because in the end, I make software. This is a hobby. I make software because I enjoy it and I want to make cool stuff that people find useful.
Yep.
And I don't want to make people angry and sad.
So in the context of cool stuff that people find useful.
Yes.
Mobile phones.
Yeah.
You commented on your Twitter feed, and you should give people your @ if you want to follow you.
Yep.
That you've seen more iPhones here at Android Open than Android devices.
I'm not sure that I have now that I've been wandering around for 4 hours. I'm not sure I actually have seen more iPhones and Android devices. But sitting in the morning keynotes, I was surrounded by no fewer than 6 iPhones and 1 Android device.
What's up with that? What's going to drive a change in that space here?
I don't know. I know that San Francisco is a pretty hip town, and the iPhone is a very nice device. It's well made, it's clean, and it works. But I am a little weirded out that people here have iDevices.
I've seen somewhat the opposite, but you may be hanging out in different circles.
I may well. But I've also seen people with an Android device and an iPhone buried in their bag.
Got it. Dual hip toting is not that uncommon.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's used devices that work. They all basically work.
Cool. All right. Well, there it is, Jesse. Awesome. Thanks for coming by and talking.